Friends, in last episode, we have talked 8 things to remember, and I have given you a formula to remember A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. In the first video, we have discussed about A and B. Now, in this video, we would like to throw light on the C and D. C is basically communication. I have also added the confidence and clarity for your remembrance purpose, and D is for decision making. So in this short video, we'll try to cover both these aspects, how much important these are for a social worker and even for an individual in his or her life. You must have heard many lectures on the communication, and each one of us communicate with people number of times, almost consciously and unconsciously, every day, 1,000 times in a day. So it has come to us not without learning. We have learned this through various resources, various agencies, but we have not consciously thought of how to communicate. So we have a similar pattern to communicate. When we go in an interview, we communicate as we are talking to a sabji wala, and when we talk to a sabji wala, we talk in a very subtle language. So many things are there that we develop a pattern of communication which normally doesn't change in different environment with the different people. Almost 70 to 80% it remains same, because it goes way too much unconsciously and it is a very much learned behavior. Since it is a learned behavior, we can change. Change is the law of nature. And don't think that you can't change your communication styles. You can. Only thing that you have to be aware. So your communication with your client is different than with your wife or with your children. Now, to understand the communication, you should know communication is your ability to express your ideas, your feeling, or share your ideas and feeling with others. How do you do it? Normally, there are many aspects of communication. It is written, and sometimes it is oral. Some people are very good in written communication, but they are not equally good in oral communication. So they can't tell people on the face, but they can send you a good message, very effective, very communicable. But one should understand that communication at your workplace, in your relationship, at your home, with people, it has some different dimensions. How do you present? Your presentation skills. Communication, by the way, I tell you, communication involves many other skills. It is a composite repository of different types of skills. So your presentation skills also determine your communication skills. Presentation, listening, active listening. If you don't listen people, you can't communicate people with properly. Because you do not know what others are listening, others are requiring, what others want. Without listening, you will say what you want. So whether it is being received by them or not. Then, there is in communication, non-verbal cues. What you communicate verbally with language, more than that, it is communicated by your gestures, by your body language, by your eyes, by your movement of your hands, movement of your body. So communication is one aspect where you don't speak only by mouth, but your entire body speaks. And that is why sometimes silence also communicate. Not necessarily you need words. You communicate silently. You communicate symbolically. And you should learn to communicate non-verbally. That is the art. Most of the artists in films, they give expressions on their faces without saying 10 words. They communicate 10,000 words. That is the power of communication. That is the power of non-verbal use, non-verbal aspect. And these can be developed. How much pause you take, how quickly you speak, how much your eyes are getting expressive, how your whole body reflects that you are engaged in the communication. Attention. That is equally important. While communicating, how much attentive you are. Communication has two more important C's. What we call it, confidence and clarity. Otherwise, communication has, I have 7 C's, but you will say that you are creating confusion. Confidence, clarity, creativity, conviction. So a communication requires conviction from where you speak, how passionately, how confidently you are speaking. And while you are speaking, do you make your communication creative? Does it attract people? Your tone, your fervor, your words, your choices of word. So choices is also important. Clarity is very important. What do you want to say? In most of the seminar and conferences, people are being asked to ask questions. And when they stand, when they get up, they give another lecture. Unfortunately, many times they don't have a clarity what they want to ask, so it is not pinpointed. You must have noticed it. Because they are not able to compose that question. They have too many things to convey. Clarity is very important. It is equally important as the conviction. It reduces the complexity in the communication. It makes communication more simple. That is why it is easily understandable. That is why people do not lose interest in listening. That is the power of communication. Use it. If communication is with the same label, with friendliness, it has a component of friendliness, I believe you will understand where it is egoless. You are not overconfident. You are speaking honestly. What you are saying knowingly, consciously. So you will recall how many C I have used in last 2 minutes. I have deliberately chosen these C's so that you can remember the traits of a good communication. One of my friend Mr. Sunil Vasain sent a comment and he says, when you explain the communication, please do communicate about the responsive communication. Maybe a new term for you. But when we communicate quickly, sometime without taking a second, and we give the reaction. Reactive communication. Not good every time. Because reactive communication comes from gut level. And that is driven by emotions, steering your quick feeling. Sometimes it reflects that it has hurt you. It's a personal, emotional triggers. That is reactive communication. It is not open. You speak from a turf, protecting yourself. So you can call it turf protector. Most of the time negative. It is not open, but it intends to close the communication by reacting. So it is not open, it is little closer. Sometimes reactive communication can be compared with bullying tactics. I don't say that you should not react, but it is always better that you give response, not reaction. Reaction many times is quick. Response is thoughtful. Responsive communication is in fact an approach which you cultivate. Responsive communication is thoughtful, little bit logical, reasoned. So you think, find out reasoning, communicate. It is a response, not reaction. So it is more positive. It is not hurting. Responsive communication is a welcome communication. Offers most of the time valid points, valid views. It is not about that content of your communication. It is about intent of your communication. So it is intent which is more important. How do you communicate? To practice to be a good communicator or develop the communication skills, I will say start shifting from reactive communication to responsive communication. That is what Mr. Sunil Vasain, my friend, wanted to be in his comment. I added this. While I welcome your comment on the communication, you communicate your comments to me, I will give you 3 tips very quickly to be an effective communicator. Make sure what is being said or what is being to be conveyed. Tune your mind to prepare that script. And your mind works so faster that if you will start training it, you will get it. Second very important tip is, ask yourself about the clarity of content with a positive intent. Cultivate positivity in your communication. Even negative questions you can ask in a positive way. And third, give yourself training to respond appropriately. Take space and time Both are your assets in communication. Most of the communication, wherever you are doing, with whom you are doing, also depends the external factors. I'm not going in detail of that, but in a given environment. Friends, since this video is going to be little longer, I will stop it here and will move on to the part D, decision making. We make decisions in our life every day, every time, every moment. Personal, professional, workplace, relationship. 1,000 kinds of decisions. Buying a vegetable, taking a TV, buying one product of one company. Why not? So decisions are being taken based on reasoning, information, intuitively. Sometimes without information we take decision, without data, without background. Sometimes we take decision intuitively only, and sometimes together with reasoning and intuition. Decision making is such a process which goes on. Many times, like communication, it is not being thought of, not recorded in your mind. So this is a decision making and is in a process to take chosen options. When we take decision based on rationality, logic, scientificness, information, big decisions, maybe affecting our career, affecting our life, relationship, we take time, and we should. The quality of decision making can be enhanced, can be changed, can be made more functional, more useful. So how to take a decision, where to use intelligence, and what kind of intelligence, emotional intelligence, or even your spiritual intelligence. Decisions are quick to slow. Certain decisions have to be taken quick. Certain decisions demand time. You can take time to take decision. But certain decisions you have to take quickly. You have to be very clear. Like any interview, you don't have much time, you have to respond quickly. So to take good decisions, then you have to take quickly. It depends on your way of thinking. How do you think? How do you make the things possible? What is the level of positivity in your life? How critically you think, or how simplicity is in your thinking. That all affect the decision making. A good decision. How to take a decision? Normally we identify the problem, situation, do a little bit digging, getting information about that, think creatively, search options, evaluate each options, then choose the best. And this has to be done as early as possible, quickly. So a good decision may be logical, may be tuned to your values, to your conviction, based on your goals, reflects your creative capacity of thinking and your conviction. A good decision is clear reasoning, It reflects clear reasoning. Decision may be right or wrong. Don't worry about that. Sometimes what happens where we have to make compromise, we make conflict. And where we make conflict, we compromise the situation. It happens. So don't bother whether your decision will be right or wrong. But if you are taking decision consciously, with clarity, most of your decision bound to be right, productive, helping you. Social work is a profession of human relations. You are working with people. So be cautious that you take a decision in their favor. Decision for whom, in which capacity, for what, how. These are the questions. If you start thinking, you will be able to respond quickly. People talk of strategic decisioning. This decision-making process and decision-making skills are more taught into the management science. And that is why they have found many such words. I give you one: strategic decision. Short-term decisions for your long-term goals. Friends, I don't want to confuse you more, but it is an area to think, how do we take decisions? And never regret. Learn with your mistakes if you have committed, but don't regret. Don't throw muds on others. I have taken decision because of you or because of him or because of her. Your decision, start owning your decision. It will give you strength. Thank you, friends. We'll meet you in part 3 of this series, 8 things to remember. Don't forget to send your comments, your views. It helps me in decision making, and your communication helps me in making more material for you. Thank you very much. Namaskar.